which turned into OK100, that turned into WTJY. And then from there, I went to WKYS. Now I'm on WPFW 89.3 FM. Had a long year, decades of working for Def Jam, Loud, relatively different record companies. And now I'm a business owner, and I celebrate what I eat, sleep, and drink all my life as far as hip-hop. In my store called Cookieware in Washington, D.C. So it's just a thing of celebrating life, guys, and just staying focused and know your history. If you're going to be in this, what you call hip-hop thing, and me being a B-girl, there was at one time that I could actually backspin. There was actually one time that I could do a flip. There was actually one time, there was a lot of things that I could do. Learn your elements and try them all. You know what I'm saying? Be a part of that, eat, sleep, and drink that. And this is a wonderful sensation. You guys are the next generation moving up as far as this hip-hop thing, and I encourage you to try other elements of style, of dance, as far as the hip-hop elements, and expand your horizons when it comes to it, because the music is changing. I would tell you guys to do your research, do your research on what we grew up on. And how we dance, and bring that back. You know, celebrate history. I love you all. Thank you.
So yeah, we can go ahead and start formulating those questions. Anybody got any for Sam or Noodles? Correction. Any questions? Think about it. Got my man Castro, what you got?
So I was the only child, and I was teased a lot, and met some phenomenal people in my music class, and I was taught haikus and limericks. The other side of me is I used to be with a rapper called Main Source, and so I was with different record labels, rhyming and putting my voice out there, but moving back to where you were asking, building my self-esteem. Didn't have the support at home. No one understood what I was doing. And I just attached myself to first making the cardboard floors, because I was doing graffiti first. And they needed someone to make the floors, so I said, I'll make them. And I started spinning on them. And the rest is history. But it came from people teasing me, and not having a brother or sister, someone to talk to. I had to find it, and I found it through poetry and music, and the rest is history. I had some wonderful mentors when I was growing up, Curtis Blow, known them all my life, and had some wonderful people just tapping into me and helping me out, you know what I mean? So I look at them more as uncles and brothers, but that's where it started from.
Any other questions? I have a question. I'd like to extend the same one, if you could. I want to extend a similar question to Sam about how you got into the music, what that story was like, and maybe how it feels, the second part of it, how it felt at the beginning and looking back now.
Excellent question. As a child, I loved all kinds of music because radio and television gave you more of a variety. They gave you more of a variety of sounds to play off of. As a child, like her, I was a very alone child by choice, and I loved to draw. And I also had a record player right next to me as my muse, and I would play music all day long. By the time I got to high school, they asked you, what you're going to be when you get out of school. And I said, either a filmmaker, actor, or a disc jockey, but I thought it was going to be a radio job. Well, I was in college. A friend of mine said, look, why don't you come down and work with us at the Chapter 2? And it was a club down in Southeast back in the late 70s. And I was a doorman there. And I was there for a few months, but when I first worked there, I was 20 years old, checking people's ID. You had to be 21 years of age. And I was like a few days shy of my 21st birthday. So I was more nervous than the people who were coming in with fake IDs. And one particular night, one of the DJs got sick. And they knew I DJ'd at house parties. I wasn't efficient, I wasn't that great. I knew how to work at my craft. But they said, you gotta get up there. DJ's sick, we ain't got nobody. I said, okay. So I get up there, played all the right tunes. At the time, the most popular tune at the time was Chuck Brown's Bustin' Loose. And the thing is, as long as I played Bustin' Loose, I was fine. Trust me, I love Chuck. I loved Chuck before, but then I really loved Chuck. But I went to all kinds of clubs. I went to all the, trust me, there were so many variety of clubs. They were country and western clubs. They were the funk bunny clubs. And I'm talking about black folks dancing all night long. You hear me? All night long. Energy just all night. And then you go to some of the gay bars that would go around. Some of them look like the Blue Oyster. And a bunch of Hell's Angels on motorcycles and that kind of thing. It was kind of weird, but it was interesting. You learn a lot. The clubhouse was very influential in my life and a lot of DJs because there was the ultimate club as far as with the sound system. The party started about 1 o'clock in the morning, then end till 9 o'clock. So you coming in at 1 in the morning and coming to the sunlight. So it was that type of experience. I had to learn my craft. I went to all the clubs, and I became very efficient in my work because I took it as an art and a craft. And eventually, I stayed in it, and I stayed in it, and I stayed in it. And I'm here to talk to you right now, and I'm still DJing right now. So I tell all you young people out here, get your education, so you won't be DJing in front of a bunch of losers and drunks. But see, that's fine. But see, I usually like playing in front of people who are alive and like to dance all night long and soak their bodies the next day. But I just love what I do. And most of all, I enjoy you guys and this DJ that's sitting here. He's been here since, I guess, whenever he's tired. But just a beautiful thing, just meeting so many people, so many different generations. I'm 57 years old, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to inspire all the artists and other people in this town to continue to do what you're doing, because one day I ain't going to be here. So if you're on this planet, make a difference. Reach out to other people and learn from them. I'm still learning. I got an 11-year-old son here that's teaching me a whole lot of stuff and keeping me in check and keeping my weight down. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Any questions to follow or piggyback off of what they said so far? Do you have a question for Rob? No? Well, I do have a... Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering, it's not like, I guess, not really like a knowledgeable thing, but just like where you were. I was wondering, were you there the day IBM battled?
Yes. Were you there the day that IBM battled Warpath?
I was there, and I got into a big fight afterwards. Yeah. And if, when I come back and we do this again, I'm going to bring some more of the pioneers of all those crews here so that you can meet them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them are still alive and kicking, and they're still battling in my store, my little store. They come in there, big butts, and they battle in the store. So yes, I was there. Another, piggybacking off the other part of the question, what keeps me going is people like you and people out there who are still doing it. And education is the key, and I feel like the VH1s, the BETs, the TV1s, and all that, they're not educating enough on this culture. We have parents who are naive and don't know what hip-hop is, and they think that saggy pants is hip-hop, they think that dirty hair is hip-hop, they think that crime is hip-hop, they think that all the bad things are hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? So that what keeps me going, because I know that that's not what it is. And as long as I can educate and articulate healthy information, especially in this area where I came from the go-go side too, from the pump blenders, the hot cold sweat, to the nasty band. And, I was the one that brought Chuck around to Kilimanjaro's on Wednesday nights, and a beautiful ride, being a promoter, just being a stimuli. And at the beginning, I was fine with that way. I had no idea what I was doing. I was totally clueless. I loved money, and I loved microphones. That's what it is. See how I'm holding on to? No, but I'm just saying, so. But you know, you have all your reasons why you do what you do, but as long as I have three beautiful daughters here, you met Marcia when I was dancing, and then I have a wonderful DJ, my oldest daughter Candace, who's DJed for so many famous folks, and a beautiful artist, Jada, who loves graffiti. So they live those elements through me. Why? Because I educated them properly. And that's what I want. You understand what I'm saying? The next generation to be educated properly. So that's what keeps me doing what I do.
Just to piggyback off what she said, one thing I noticed, I'm a former fine arts student, and I would go downstairs and watch the modern dance class and that sort of thing. But one thing I noticed about B-boys and B-girls, you guys are always, every day, working on technique. Technique, every day. I don't care, just several times a day, you're working on technique. Where I knew with the people that was in modern dance and that sort of thing, they only practice when they have to go to practice and rehearsal. Where it's in your blood, it's in your DNA, so you have to move around. What she said earlier about the, like parents don't understand hip-hop, that culture she's talking about is coming from the rap culture, the narrative, how you look, how you act. All that is nothing but a blueprint for sending your ass to jail several times and what have you. But yeah, but it is a blueprint. I mean, you think about it. Why do you think some of the young men get caught all the time? They didn't wear a belt. How are you going to jump over a fence going from the police when your pants are here? You can't move your legs up. They got you every time. So when they arrest you, they take your laces from your shoes. And also your belt. So you can't be like a soldier and get away. Because I know for me in this neighborhood, back in the 60s, when the police was chasing somebody, they never caught him. He had his pants tight, shoes tight, and they never caught the man. Trust me. They could never catch somebody who was soldierly. Never.
Question?
Kind of to piggyback off that, you look back at how the culture was when you started. Yeah, so to piggyback off that, like you look back at the culture when you started, you look at the culture now, do you think like it's on more of the right path, or do you think it's kind of strayed from like what hip-hop was?
Okay, so he said, looking at the culture back then and now, do you think we've strayed off the path? Are we still on it in any way? Is there any hope?
I think it's straight. Hope, when it's organizations like yours and you guys keep doing what you're doing, yes, there is hope. But if we have the misinterpretation of what hip-hop is, for example, world star hip-hop, has nothing to do with hip-hop. We have a lot of people attaching the word hip-hop to things that are not hip-hop. That's what destroys it. You understand what I'm saying? And then we need more kids and adults and musicians and music teachers to implement hip-hop into the curriculum, to understand, because it is a form of, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle for some like myself. And my pants ain't sagging, though I do have a lot of tattoos. I'm not gonna lie, but that has nothing to do with hip-hop though. It's just something of choice, you understand what I'm saying? So we have a lot of misrepresentation of what hip-hop is. And like I said, when you look at these TV shows and so forth, and what's that one called Love and Hip Hop? That has nothing to do with hip hop. That has something to do with being trifling. It has nothing to do with hip hop. I don't see anything. And I don't see rappers. I see chanters. I see people who have no clue of who Grandmaster Flash is, or Grand Wizard Theodore, or even Curtis Blow, or even Iceberg Slim. I can take you back to Millie Jackson. I can take you back so far, they make your head spin. saying, and you'll be like confused if you want to continue this hip hop thing again. It's really important. It's really important to educate yourself and educate those little ones. Take some time. It's a wonderful conversation. Even the things that you don't know, it's wonderful organizations like what you're doing that keeps that dance element alive. And that's what I love about it. But to answer your question, I think it's a hot mess. Do I think it can be saved? Absolutely.
You know, that question, I think everybody answered that question as soon as you said it. You know, I mean, it's really bizarre now because when rap stars of the 80s, they were rap stars. And most of them danced. You gotta think about it. Big Daddy Kane, scrapping school, dancing with Big Daddy Kane. You had Heavy D. Yeah, I mean, you know, Salt and Pepper Kid and Play. Houdini, they all danced. And, you know, some people forgot that LL did his moves and that sort of thing. But it's more about crime. I mean, you know, I knew we was in trouble when the B-boy was replaced by the vixen. As soon as you have the woman with the shapely body and bikini up, that was when it started to go straight down. And right now, it's really hard. It's really hard. Because you have a lot of people with a lot of sexual addiction because it's more out there now. And they say sex sells, yeah, but personally, I'm bored with pornography. I'm really bored with it. Totally. Well, yeah, 57, you're gonna be bored with a lot of things, trust me. So look forward to it, trust me. All that sensational stuff that you feel when you're young, trust me, you'll be like, all right, I did that, whatever. But yes, it is gone.
Can I ask you? Okay, so I want to ask you guys a question. Hip hop movies. You saw Wild Style. You saw Scratch. Beat Street. What else? Whatever other hip hop movies have you seen? Documentaries have you seen? Wonderful, wonderful. What else have you seen? Crush Groove. What else have you seen? Huh? Yeah.
All the dances. Fast forward.
Give me some more. There's so many documentaries out here. There's over 112 hip-hop documentaries from different aesthetics of not just the United States, but abroad, and how they became the way that they are to this point. And we're talking about just the elements now, B-boy, B-girl, turntablism, and graffiti. We're not talking about crime, sagging pants, butt crack, cleavage. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So when you get some time, do that research. And all you have to do is just Google it. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any questions, you want to email me, and you want those questions answered, email me at cookieware@gmail.com, and I will give you that entire list. And I encourage you to pass that on and share. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a beautiful thing, this hip-hop thing is, and it's there for the taking, and it's a wonderful way to find yourself. Just don't take advantage of it. That's when I get kind of political.
Thank you. Any questions before I?
So, originally I'm from New York, so everyone in this room here, when I dance, you can tell, because New York has always had that aggressive, quick, hard style. Cali has a very fast, flashy style. Florida has a very smooth, clean style. What would you say, since you guys, you grew up with the start of it all here in the area, what would you say would be DC, DN, whatever, this area, what would you say would be the strong point or the soul from here? What would you say would express how dancers from the DMV dance?
So at the beginning, a lot of my friends were either coming here from New York or Philly, Dominican Republic, Mexico, don't raised by someone that came from either New York or California, what have you, that gave him that stimuli, and they just passed it on. You understand what I'm saying? Mine came from New York. So when I came here, I was made fun of, like, why is she dancing like that? Like, you look stupid. And I was like doing this. They were doing everything, and I'm, doing my thing. So it was dedication, and I never conformed to what everyone else was doing out here. I just kept doing my thing, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And when we graduated in 87, 88, 89, you think of David Mays, who went to Wilson High School. When we graduated together, he then founded Source Magazine. Things just started to change. You understand what I'm saying? And so it was a healthy commitment. We had our crews, we had our meetings, we had our battles every Friday. There was someone that would piss someone off, and there was a battle, and it was on. No one died, no one got hurt. Feelings were hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then when we had battles as far as on the MC tip, it was serious. You know what I'm saying? But no one ever got hurt. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing but love. So I would have a beef with you for a couple of years, but it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I like what you said about my mom. But it was okay. You know what I'm saying? But it was all heart. And that's what made us do.
Just to piggyback off of her, when I met this young lady back in 1984, there was a spot right off of Urban that was called La Pena. La Pena was a Spanish-based church, and I would see the influences from Cali and see the influence from New York. Now, if you've got some Dominicans in there, and if you've been to Santo Domingo, there's nobody dances like the Dominicans. I mean, the hips goes in so many crazy ways, and you have some people who grew up with their families, and the tradition of dance has been passed on. For me, I see such a range of dance, from modern to tap to ballet to just so many dance forms and so many different origins. I've seen people from South Africa, and you watch some South Africans when they dance, they are slick. They are slick, very slick. So I remember one night, it was Puerto Ricans and some Dominicans who were in there, and it was on. It was very intense, very tense. It was a friend of ours, it was Phil Harris and James Grant. And it got real tight up in there. A fight did break out. But it was, see, there's one thing I tell people, learn languages. Learn languages because it just gets rid of all the unnecessary slapping and pushing because you don't understand someone's language and that sort of thing. And that's how it happened. There was a language barrier, but when you have somebody that's pumped up like this, and they're speaking in their, in their language, and it might sound exciting, but he might be saying something like, "Man, you're doing good," but they thinking that you're saying something, and then a fight will break out. So, it was that kind of mixture, but to see how everything is kind of smoothed out over the years, it's because of experience and people learning. And this town has grown so much because I can recall when I first started playing in nightclubs, this was a sleepy town. And I do mean sleepy. A guy comes from New York, be here for 2 weeks. 2 months later, he's running this town. Because people didn't know anybody. So, right now, we know better. I mean, I know some of y'all, when you first started dancing, I'm looking at you guys now, I don't even recognize some of you right now. So I'm really proud of everybody who's dedicated to this craft. And it's going to go on and on and on and on. So pass it on to your children. Just pass the torch continuously. Because we are changing the future of our communities. Continuously do this. It'll be like an electric boogaloo breaking two when they had to raise money for the community center. So do that.
Any other questions? HK.
So like the dance we've seen today, like we you haven't seen any breaking, like, would you consider what we see today hip-hop?
Do I consider it a form of hip-hop, the stuff that I've seen today? I see it as a part of it. I don't see it as all of it, but I see it as a part of it. I remember when I was forced to do a backspin. I think I did it about 2 or 3 times and stopped, but I needed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in those days, we were encouraged to learn all the elements, and in each crew, it was either one female or no females at all. And out of all these crews that I announced to you, there was only 3 females. In all these crews, there was only 1 female in 3 of those crews. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of dedication. Did I see that? No, I didn't see that, but I saw the appreciation and respect of the hip-hop culture. And I would encourage those dancers that were here, even my daughter, to pick it up a notch and try something new. And build your Rolodex, or build your library, or build your brand. You're branding yourself when you dance. You understand what I'm saying? You're branding yourself, so try it. Keep building. It's never ending. You dancing today?
No, not
Oh, darn, okay, all right.
All right, thank you.
I know you said you had people come to your store that used to, that's still great, it's still great. The people who still come to your store, are they from the crews that you named?
Absolutely, they sure are.
I was wondering, what were some of the names of the crews? Because I like to bring my dad to the store.
You were like, who's your dad? Was he?
My father's name was Apache, and he started Warpath, and was also
Oh, where is he? Go get him. Call him. Give me his number. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, we're having a woo-woo moment. I'm sorry.
I just said what I said earlier, pass it on. And it's,
Pass it on. It's a wonderful thing. I want to talk to you afterwards. That'd be great. See, there's a pioneer's son. And that's a beautiful thing.
all right.
So when you have names, you just pass it on. Are you a keyboard or a rapper? You right? Are you gonna dance today? Damn.
Catch all these folks for the next one. Just like I said before at the beginning, Digs Deeper is a continuing series. It's a conversation, and looking to have it about at least twice a year, if not maybe 3 times a year. So please stay involved. Please stay in touch with Digs Deeper. And again, think about these questions as we go into our next panel, which will be after the second act of dancing. Everyone give a round of applause again for the speakers. We'll take a short break for you guys to stand up and want to get jiggy for a little bit, and we'll come back in about 5.
You just continue to do what you're doing. I mean, definitely you guys are alphas. You go out and make things happen. So you show your leadership skills when you do something and give this event. So you see so many different styles of dance and movement. I come from a so-called genre of house music, but I was doing it before it was even called that, because the disco era, people were dancing. So, you know, I say house music is nothing but disco's revenge. Truly it is. And I noticed as long as I've been playing, there's always been freedom of movement. I don't like to say the word dance. When you say dance to people, they lock into what popular dance or drop it like it's hot, that kind of thing. Where when you say movement, what we saw here tonight was movement and expression. And I don't think it will ever stop. Because, I was telling Noodles, I said, thank God for shows like So You Think You Can Dance. Because I've seen so many people from different dance styles are forced into doing a dance routine, which takes them out their element, but they excel. They beat everybody's expectation. And it's right now because of social media and electronics now. People are recording and watching. And I think before all this, if you remember, when MTV used to play music videos, and VH1 used to play music videos, a lot of people learn how to dance from watching those great videos. I mean, especially Michael Jackson. I mean, my God. I mean, I saw a movement tonight, you know, it gave that up. So you got to think about where you influence from. And I think that was a great tool that they were music videos. And some of the memorable ones, of course, you remember Michael Jackson throwing Smooth Criminal. And it was some of the most innovative movements that you've ever seen. And now, you know, like I mentioned, you have this vehicle and also all the dance shows that are actually excellent into keeping it going.
I agree with you 900%. Okay, 1,000. 1,000. I agree with him. So, yeah, I just think that let's just keep going. Even it's to the point that if you're dancing, you're doing stuff for the community constantly, more awareness. Some of us don't have cable, some of us don't look at TV, some of us don't see those TV shows, so, you know, awareness is very important. But do you remember when Michael Jackson, every time he came up with a new video, they shut down all the TV shows and each channel would show his, it was an event. It was an event, so you know what I'm saying? He gave us permission on a lot of levels to celebrate dance. I saw a lot of his moves and a lot of these dances tonight. And, you know, it's just a thing of just keeping it going. You're already doing the right thing. I think, though, when I look at the dancers that left out after they performed and they just left out, that's where the education stops and that's where the frustration begins. Because they are the next legacy of dance. So when they leave because they said, okay, I got my 3 minutes or 4 minutes. I don't need to be here. You do need to be here because you're the next permission step for my daughter who was 14 and the young baby back there who's probably about 5 or 4. You got these beautiful kids. This is what they need to see, but you have to be the next innovators and educators of the style of hip hop and dance and urban dance and the whole nine. And that's when it stops. And that's the thing that irritates me. You know what I'm saying? Not just with dancers, but even MCs. You know, people who say that they can rap and they can rhyme, or even people who are dancers, just regular, beautiful, professional dancers. They don't want to keep that education going. That's what frustrates me. And hopefully, moving forward, those dancers that got out their system what they need to get out will come back and get educated so that they can pass that on.
Really, they left because they said that old dude was going to get back there and run his mouth again. I heard it.
I know we have some questions. You gotta ask some questions. Yeah, got a question.
Following up on what you were just saying, Noodles, I feel like early on, a lot of passion that was put into movement came about as a result of a necessity to speak. Came about in the presence of an absence of a voice. And now, I think with the advent of social media, so many technologies, you know, being that we are in a more materialistic society, dance is an option as opposed to a necessity. So how would you suggest getting back to that substance in order to create the type of passion as well as longevity that allowed it to survive, you know, so many social unrest as well as political and systematic things that sought to keep individuals oppressed? How would you suggest we tap into that same energy to keep it going? Because again, right now it seems like it's just an option for so many.
Well, I'm just asking, because you got to look at stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like moving forward, like those dancers that just wanted to dance. You understand what I'm saying? That's a serious question.
I can answer.
Oh.
I can answer that. I mean, I became a DJ out of necessity. I realized I was getting more money. I was getting more money DJing than I was working tables at a restaurant. And not only that, there's one thing if there's anything you want to do in life, you have to have vision. Vision, thank you. And my son said education. And that's what she's talking about. When you talk about education, when you get the education, spread the education. Don't say you're educated, but you don't give any knowledge. Anybody can say, oh, I know that, but you don't know nothing. So as you have vision, just say, okay, I want to dance, or I want to do this. Think about a goal. Where I'm going to be in 5 years? Where I'm going to be in 10 years? Is my body going to hold up in the next 10 years? Should I get into choreography, this choreography? Which is good, because they'll lengthen your career. Because when you watch shows like So You Think You Can Dance, these people had paid their dues and got their bumps and bruises, but they had vision to put together a show or a performance. And you have to have vision, and most of all, passion. Believe in what you're doing. There's people out here that don't believe in nothing. Not a thing. And of course they're miserable. They're going to talk about you, and they say, so what? So what they're going to talk about you? They will be talking about you when you succeed. Okay? And it's going to be more. It's a positive and negative. Take it both. The positive sometimes can be negative if you believe in that crap. You have to believe in yourself and have vision. That's all I have to say about that. Just believe and have vision.
Okay, is there a question? I see hands. Yes.
Yeah, I have one question. For youth that's out there now, this is for both of you. So with regards to all those guys and towns these kids have to have, what they have to possess, what is it that they can very go to with regards to resources to get proper education? So that's the one question I'm supposed to, because we have a lot of talent, but it's still a thing of, where do they very well go to get that reinforcement that's necessary so that as time goes along, they know how to pass on others.
She asked about resources for talented dancers.
Well, I think for talented dancers or entertainers or performers, things of that nature, it starts at home first. It's going to be the guidance of your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your foster parents, your cousins, the elders, to give you that direction that you need to move forward and support you on your next venture. This is to the point you say, I want to dance. I know I'm going to play basketball, but I want to dance. Okay, I have to be that parent to support that young adult and nurture them and support them and go get the shoes and go get the leggings and the tights and go get oh man, they cost a lot of money, but I mean, you got to be able to support the change and be able, if you're not educated enough to know what they're getting into, take the time to educate yourself with your investment. Your child is your investment, you know what I'm saying? They're part of the next generation and your future, so it goes hand in hand of just taking the time. A lot of parents nowadays, we don't take the time. We say we're working, we come home, we're tired. But we always find time to be on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. That time you can be put into educating and supporting the youth. And I think that we've lost track of all of that. We've lost track of just taking the time, turn the TV off, don't worry about who's sleeping with who, and who doing who, and who getting divorced, and who got this, and who got that, and focus on the support that our kids need, our next generation. That's why I think that, I've heard some very serious stories back in the days of people who were abused, had very negative parenting, and so forth, and they were still able to succeed. They had mentoring. They had the YMCA, they had the Boys and Girls Clubs and so forth. So as long as we have those vessels and those options for those ones that don't have the guidance at home, but I still believe that everything comes from home, and I blame parenting. It starts at home first. Everything your child does, your young adult does or embraces comes from home. And it starts from home, if you're asking me. You know what I'm saying? Because we control the TV, we control whether we want to afford cable or not, we control whether we want to deal with Netflix or not, we control all of that stuff. It's nothing like back in the days when TV went off at what, 11?
No, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, and some stayed on to like 3 o'clock.
Didn't some go off at 12?
The national anthem.
you weren't sleepy and you still stayed up and you had a conversation, or you had a VHS tape and you played your movies, and you know, we had from the Jeffersons to Good Times to Fish to Barney Miller, and you celebrated family. And nowadays you don't celebrate family enough. And I think that's where the disconnect comes from, because it's no longer starting at home. It's starting from social networking sites. That, to me, looks like that's what's giving people permission to do some of the stupidest things on this planet. It gives them that permission. So if we start taking that back and claiming our households, no matter who we're raising, everything, I think, will fall into place.
Some of you,
And the food tasted better too, yeah.
it
It was real potatoes.
was real potatoes back then, not as many corporations that want to get in and put additives and stuff like that in their food, making people look crazy and that crazy. And, you know, fast foods around here, you know, that kind of thing. Blood pressure is up and everything else, diabetes, you know, and that's why they're acting crazy and they fight and shoot, because if my blood pressure's up, I'm fighting, I'm shooting somebody for the night. But anyway, the thing is, it's not only comes from home. How many of you been in a situation where it just felt hopeless, and there was somebody that was there? Mason, we gotta talk, son. Jesus Christ. But I understand this plight. But anyway, there's always somebody that could see something in you. I know that some of you, you know, felt lost, but there was somebody who walked up to you and said, you should keep doing that. Hey, why don't you go over here and try this out? Sign up for this, sign up for that. There is always somebody watching and listening. Trust me. There are always somebody watching and listening. So don't ever give up hope about that. Somebody's watching and listening, even if somebody who can't stand your ass.
Thank you. Question.
So I have a question, because I've had kids, I've got 2 generations of dancers. And there's always been this beef, I guess, between those from the street, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. But, you know, back in the day, you wanted folks to accept you. You wanted people to understand hip-hop and know what it is. But it seems now that the more commercial it's become, there's this rift that has come between those that have become commercial and those that still want to remain street. How do you, I guess, address that or marry, you know, bring that to
You know what I do? I ignore it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm street. And so, I'm street. Just saying. But a lot of the people that I would embrace and celebrate at one time weren't street. And they were wonderful dancers, but they were lacking something. So that's why the battles were so much encouraged at that time. Nowadays, see, I didn't even know that this was going on. I would just say it's something that needs to be ignored, and I think we should just constantly implement that it's 2 different wonderful styles. You're great, and let's just keep it great. You know what I mean? Kind of like bypass, because I never knew. This was my first time doing that, you know what I mean? But it's something definitely that we should ignore and keep the dance harmony alive and keep the spirit going and keep the drive and ambition of more successful choreographers and dancers and teachers and educators and this thing we call dance, hip-hop, house, tap, funk, fusion, jazz, all that, keep it going. I said ignore it.
Also to address, your question, you have to think about it. You did say street, where the street kind of run things, especially in certain neighborhoods. And that's ignorance. You got to realize what ignorance is. And class. Some people don't have class. And sometimes, yeah, you went to class. I read you. But you have to understand that, you know, where it's coming from. Because there's a lot of negativity. Because sometimes, you know, most people who are from the streets don't really have anybody to tell them they're doing well. You got to think about that. You think about the people who have been encouraged and said, that's good, but you may have to work on that. That's somebody who has class. They're taking you to class. And you have somebody who's from the street, they do a little cute little move here and there, they're limited, and they think they're all that, but they're not. One thing I've learned in my lifetime is that you can't stop learning. I am still learning today. I want to learn. And trust me, I'm here because I want to learn. You know, I'm not saying get up here and dance and stuff like that because they're calling it animal movement, things like yeah. Probably get the animals in here, you know, that kind of thing. But to get back to that, it's just that you have to understand ignorance and you have to understand someone who has knowledge and compassion. That's all that is. That separates the two. And you have to teach your children that. You have to talk to them that says, look, this fool over here wants to fight instead of talking and have a resolve. And that was one of the things that hip-hop was all about, because you had gangs, warring gangs in certain cities like Chicago, LA, Detroit, but New York, you had the Zulu Nation. And the Zulu Nation, what they had was all these kids who fought all the time. You realize in those gangs, there are people in there who have hidden talents. When you have somebody who has talent, they recognize that. So when you see the battles, the dance battles, they're about inches away from each other. Inches. But they don't touch one another. But the thing is, it's encouraging. They'll come back and work on it and blow the person away. It's a nice one. So hip-hop was about resolve from the streets and that sort of thing. And the elements of hip-hop, the b-boy, the graffiti artist, the MC, and the graffiti artist. And those are the 4 elements of hip-hop. This is hip-hop, 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 dance, more, nice type of thing. You gotta recognize where you are and follow through. You wanna say something, Mason? You have a question?
What is going to be like in the future of
What's it gonna be like in the hip? I really don't know, son, unless you make a difference and work on your dance and your craft and your basketball.
Is it hip-hop music?
Hip-hop music? Hip-hop music or dance? Hip-hop or the whole thing? I think it's going to still go on and on.
Mason, I think it's going to go on, but until parents and our generation, even that generation is a smidgen underneath us, like not support certain TV shows and not support certain websites, and actually come together and say, you know what, we don't support this. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of support to things like, you don't know this website, and you'll probably never go on it because by the time you do want it, it never exists, but like World Star Hip Hop or Media Takeout or all these websites that put that hip hop at the end, and it has nothing to do with hip hop, and people who attach crime to hip hop, and people who attach jail to hip hop, and people who attach certain things that's not hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the thing of saying, I don't support this, that's not what hip-hop is, and know how simple the elements are, and keep it that way. You understand what I'm saying? So it takes, is that a village?
Yes.
There you go. And so we got to be the village. What is the whole thing? The village what? It takes a village. There you go. So we need to get back to that village, not just with hip-hop, but with a lot of things that we are embracing that are not accurate. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I see young ladies come in my store and they have these teeny pants on and you see their butt crack and you see their underwear. I don't really trip on the 5-color hair because I did dye my hair in Kool-Aid a lot. But when you look at them and they're 13 and 14, there's a problem. And then when you look at the music videos, and sometimes I look at the newer videos, and they got this girl implementing this woman, there's a problem. It's time for us to take our music back. It's time for us to take a lot of things back. And it starts with us in this room. And it's very easy. It's really not hard. Because anytime Ms. Johnson, who owned BET herself, said she's disgusted TV1. She's discussed it and what they've done to TV1, and she wouldn't even support it. There's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of things that we're just too lazy about. And if we just get up off our asses and just give ourselves permission to take music back, to take TV back, to take radio back. Radio's disgusting, and I'm on it. It's the most disgusting thing ever. I mean, it's not payover free. You know that this song is not hot. The reason why you think this song is hot is because you hear it every 15 minutes because that record company paid somebody to play it over and over again to brainwash you to make you believe it's hot. So what I did love about all these dances, that none of the songs outside of one I've never heard before, and they were all beautiful. They dug into the crates, they gave themselves permission to celebrate good music, and not something that's told by you is hot when it's really not.
Some of you already know me, I like to make things a little lighter, put a smile on your face, but you have to think about, I want to see hands fly. How many of you people see CB4? Come on now, you seen CB4? Yeah, seen CB4? That was a precursor.
Black Hat.
Yeah, Fear of the Black Hat. I know that, but the one that was widely distributed, you know, you got to keep it underground with Fear of the Black Hat. But that was a great movie, great movie. But CB4, the shocking thing about that whole movie, and so funny, in 93, when that movie came out, 4 years later, Tupac and Biggie was both killed. Because if you think about CB4, they were selling violence, you know, sex, and that whole thing, because they had the crazy song, Sweat Off My Balls, and things, I'm black, y'all, I'm black, that kind of thing. At that time, you know, every rapper back then was trying to fit in, you know, trying to sound like whoever, trying to be like it, that sort of thing. And when the record industries realized that these songs were selling, especially with NWA was out before, but their beats were real sloppy. And Public Enemy, they had the Bomb Squad. Their beats, production was tight. Public Enemy, you couldn't beat them. Well, Ice Cube used to come over here to the East Coast. So he basically, look man, why don't we just go ahead and tighten up our beats are sloppy. They come out with Niggas for Life. You know, 100 miles, whatever. They were coming out with that. When they sold with that, boom, that opened the door for the rest of them. Ice-T was on side. You couldn't beat him. He was just really, really sinister back then. And I think when it got, by 95, 96, you had certain people who was kind of sugarcoating you, like Puffy was doing some stuff. Flavor in Your Ear was out. Flavor, you know, that type of stuff. But when it got to the point where Master P was coming in, it got dumbed down, and completely dumbed down. And now, I can't listen to some of the stuff because most of the stuff that comes out, it sounds like they should play only at the malls. Because when you go shopping and that sort of thing, that's what you hear all the time. And I don't understand when I go to clubs and you got people 45 and 50 years old, not really dancing to the music, but they're accepting the music that their grandchildren are dancing to in the clubs. That's real weird to me, you know? I mean, that's really weird. I mean, you're gonna hear some stupid song like, I remember I went to one spot, they were playing Lip Gloss, and it was a over 40 crowd in there. I mean, trust me, the DJ was dry. He was dry. I think he wasn't prepared to play whatever the line dances and that kind of stuff, but it was just bad. But I mean, it's just where it is now. It's just so perverted now. I mean, Nicki Minaj. Yeah, we had that talk. But and you know, I remember when Lil' Kim and Bahamadia and gosh, there's so many great female artists. I mean, you know, she was doing her thing here back in the day. I mean, they spoke about things, they talked about things. But now it's just, you know, what they're wearing and what they're going to do to you sexually, promise. Whatever. But it's just a perverted world that we live in right now. And we mean, don't want to talk about taking back anything. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it and just look at the people and say, what? That's all you gotta do. Just do it. Don't talk about taking back something. I hear people say, can we bring something back? No, that club is dead and buried. That was a condominium, like most of the places around.
Due to time, we do need to unfortunately wrap up this panel, but we really, had a lot of great conversation already. I hope that you guys know this, like I said before, this is the